All right, guys, welcome back to All Mormons Eat Jello Weekly, which of course does not mean that we eat Jello on a weekly basis. It just means that this is a weekly show. And this is where we take the gospel seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. And so we've got some funny things to share with you this week. But before we get into that, we're going to share a couple items of church news. So there's one that's not a real big surprise. And if it surprises you, I'm really surprised that it surprises you. And there's another one that I think is really neat. So let's start off with the neat one. The first one is the church to celebrate revelation on the priesthood. So the church announced this last week that they are going to have a celebration that's going to be held marking the 40th anniversary of the 1978 revelation, extending the blessings of the priesthood to all worthy brethren. The announcement was made in June 1978. And it said at that time that the First Presidency announced, quote, that the long-promised day has come when every faithful, worthy man in the church may receive the holy priesthood with power to exercise his divine authority and enjoy with his loved ones every blessing that flows therefrom, including the blessings of the temple. So to celebrate this, the church is going to be doing a worldwide broadcast from the conference center on Friday, June 1st, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So make sure that you get that on your calendar. That's going to be really, really neat to see. And I think it's really cool that the church is celebrating this and taking the time to celebrate. So that was the first one. The other one was that the church, it says First Presidency Statement on Utah Marijuana Initiative. And the statement reads, "We commend the Utah Medical Association for its statement of March 30th, 2018, cautioning that the proposed Utah Marijuana Initiative would compromise the health and safety of Utah communities. We respect the wise counsel of the medical doctors of Utah. The public interest is best served when all new drugs designed to relieve suffering and illness and the procedures by which they are made available to the public undergo the scrutiny of medical scientists and official approved bodies." And if you were surprised that the church came out and said that, I am surprised that you were surprised. So there's a couple things in the news. There was also a Mormons in the news, and we're going to get into this a little bit later, and I'm going to be writing a post this week about this as well. But Heinz announced this week that or last week, that they are going to release a new type of ketchup, and they're going to call it mayo-chup. And it is essentially fry sauce. I'm just going to, spare the suspense. It's fry sauce. And they're trying to steal fry sauce from LDS culture. So there's a tweet I'm going to share about that. And then later this week, I'm going to have a post coming out that's going to have some of the funniest posts that I saw, some of the funniest tweets of people responding to Heinz's attempted takeover of the cultural icon of fry sauce. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But now we're going to jump into best of the Twitter steak. There is one of the things I was worried about when I started this was I didn't know if there would be enough funny things to share each week that were LDS related from Twitter that we could share. And some weeks there's more than others, but this last week there was a lot of really, really funny stuff. So I'm going to share some of these with you and encourage you to go follow these people because they have some funny stuff. So the first one was Moremonger, who we've shared stuff from before. He posted and said, "Whenever I don't want to do something, I just tell people my patriarchal blessing says not to." And so I thought that was really funny. And as a matter of fact, Moremonger, I might actually start to apply that in my own life as well. I used to just say I would pray about it, but I think this one's even stronger. Hey, I when my wife says, can you do the dishes? My patriarchal blessing says that I shouldn't do that. But now that I think about it, that won't work because she knows what my patriarchal blessing says, but I can probably use it with other people. The next one was from Cindy B. She's at Utah Mom's Life on Twitter. She said, and this is one that I think we've all had the experience with, when you see the missionaries heading up to your neighbor's front door and you want to yell out, "Good luck." And that made me laugh because I remember people doing that when I was on my mission, saying, yeah, they're not going to be interested. But what was even funnier, and tell me if you've had this experience, what was even funnier on my mission was when you get that one person in the neighborhood who apparently spends their entire day paying attention and making note of what everybody in the neighborhood does. because you go to walk up to their neighbor's house and they'll come out and say, they're not home. And we're like, oh, okay. And they'd be like, yeah, and the next people, they're not home, and the people after that, they're at work until about 3:30, and the Johnsons across the street, they're on vacation till next Thursday. And it's like, wow, is that all you do is check on your neighbors? But I have had that experience where I've seen the missionaries walking up somewhere, and it's like, yeah, good luck with that one. And obviously we shouldn't say those things, but it does go through our minds. Let's see. Here's another one from Warmonger. This one made me laugh. It was in response to the post or the announcement about the church's statement on medical marijuana, the medical marijuana initiative that I just shared a little bit earlier. And he responded and said, I thought they already released a statement when they said there'd be no more high priests. And that made me chuckle, because that's something that I've heard non-members make jokes about as well, as far as high priests. So another one with the medical marijuana initiative, Things Mormons Like, they posted this, and this made me laugh. And mind you, this was posted on April 10th. And the response to the post was, couldn't they have waited 10 days? And that just made me laugh, because obviously 420 is that day that everybody talks about marijuana and all that stuff. So I thought that was humorous. Now also, this last week we had National Siblings Day. And I posted something that I thought was kind of funny, but I'm not going to share it here. So just go back to our Twitter account and you can see what I posted for National Siblings Day. But Things Mormons Like posted a picture or a post that said Happy National Siblings Day, and then they shared these pictures. And I thought that was hilarious, because that is what siblings fight and siblings battle. And of course, Cain and Abel were no different, obviously, or at least Cain didn't like Abel. I don't know if they fought, but I assume they did, because, well, they were siblings. All right, so here's a two-part one from Poetic Kate, at Poetic Kate. And she posted, and this made me laugh because I think about this sometimes. She said, do you ever catch yourself with your arms folded while you're walking like you're a frickin' sunbeam going through the halls at church or something? And it made me laugh because we've all seen that. We've all seen the sunbeams walking through church like this, or, walking down the halls, or walking out of sacrament meeting going like this, because that's what mom and dad told them to do to be reverent. But what's really funny is her response to that. She said, also, why do we teach little kids to fold their arms when they're walking through the halls at church? Have you ever in your entire life seen an adult doing that? No, because it looks ridiculous. Like they're going to start kicking their legs and do some kind of Irish dance. And that just made me laugh to think of not only people doing Irish dances, but also thinking of the children walking through the hall starting to do some sort of Irish dance as they're sitting there with their arms folded. All right, let's see. We've got a couple more here. Oh, geez, we got several more. Man, we had a lot this week. Whew. All right, so here's another one. Rad Mormon, Dad Mormon. He said, I remember one time on my mission I said, quote, and bless all the food I will ever eat, and I'm grateful for all of it, end quote. And it's been so nice to eat anything I want with full confidence it's been blessed and my gratitude expressed. And that made me laugh just thinking of the fact that that's definitely something a missionary would do. And it's probably something I would have thought of doing because that's the way missionaries are. I've always said that I thought missionaries were sometimes the most sacrilegious people ever because we knew the gospel well enough to be sacrilegious and to crack jokes like this. So, Rad Mormon Dad, congratulations. Thank you for that. This is a funny one. Paul J. Ford, not sure who he is, but he said, so this happened to me yesterday with the M&M. I think all my LDS and Mormon friends would like this. And then he shared a picture or a screenshot of a tweet where Eminem, the rapper, yes, that Eminem, Marshall Mathers, posted and said, Paul, answer your blank phone. And you can tell that I've marked that out because this is a family show. And then Paul responded with, many are called, but few are chosen. And I thought, I think he's right. That is something that I, as a Mormon, would appreciate, would like, because that is hilarious. Well done, Paul. Really like that. Really funny. All right, So here's one from LDS State Clerk, who seems to be a perennial person represented during the Best of the Twitter Stake. And this one made me chuckle because I've been on both sides of this. I've been on the side of submitting names for my calling, and I've been on the side of saying, no, you can't have that person. And he said, with the new Elders Quorum presidencies, I'm playing the role of dream crusher as names are submitted to the stake presidency. Me pointing out, quote, his wife is Relief Society president. He doesn't have a current temple recommend and hasn't for over a year. He was high priest group leader 4 years ago and asked to be released. And then I thought it was really, really funny because people started tweeting their responses and their additional comments. And I thought one of the best ones was Moody Mormon Mom, who said he likes Nickelback. And I thought that was a hilarious one as well. It's like, no, you can't have that person. They like Nickelback. So anyways, go find that. That was a really funny thread, and there's a lot of responses, a lot of people responding to LDS State Clerk on that one. But I've definitely been on both sides of that, and it's funny to have people submit names and then say, yeah, that's not going to work for this reason or that reason. Or to have your name, or to submit a name and have the stake president say, no, you can't have that person. As a matter of fact, one time when I was bishop, I needed a new, what did I need? I can't remember. It was a new something. It was a stake calling. And, I think it was high priest group leader, actually. And the stake president asked me to submit some names. And so I humorously submitted some names. And I submitted, I say humorously because I knew full well that I was not going to get these. And LDS State Clerk, if you see this, you'll just get a chuckle out of this because I did this just to get a rise out of the stake president. And I submitted the name of one of his high counselors who was in my ward, who I knew that he wasn't going to release. I submitted the name of his executive secretary who was in my ward because I knew I wasn't going to get him. And I submitted the name of his, he was first counselor, the first counselor in the stake presidency because he was in my ward. And I knew I wasn't going to get him too. So there was the 3 names that I gave him for my high priest group leader. And he just smiled and said, try again. And so that made me laugh. That's why I laughed so hard when I read this tweet. All right, a couple more here. Colleen Justison said, when your boyfriend's a convert and doesn't know who Stacy Harkey is, we need to indoctrinate him. Now, if you don't know, Stacy Harkey is from Studio C on BYU TV. He is hilarious. And his response to this was, haha, have him read my tweets and pray about if they're good. And I thought that was a really funny response to that. This is one that I wanted to share because I've been wanting to share something from this Twitter account for a while because there's some really funny stuff. There just hasn't been anything that I thought was that I could have some commentary on, so I haven't shared anything theirs. But they retweeted this, and it's at Heard at BYU. And really all they do is they retweet funny things, and people share with them funny things that are heard at BYU, funny comments. And this one made me laugh, so I'm going to share it. It's from Catherine, at Catherine T. Veet. I'm not sure how to say that. But Catherine said, this was heard at BYU. She said, quote, the separation of church and state in Utah is about 2 blocks from the Capitol to Temple Square. And that's very true. And it made me laugh hearing that. But make sure you follow Heard at BYU. You'll see some really, really funny things that are said at BYU that are shared. And you'll really like them. And again, remember, like I said, we're going to have an upcoming post with all of my favorite fry sauce comments about the great fry sauce debacle, the great Heinz ketchup, or the great Heinz fry sauce takeover. I don't know. We'll come up with a funny name for it. But there was a ton. I think I took pictures of 10 or 12 tweets, and I'll go back and look for some more. But I'm going to be doing a post on that, so be watching for that. And this week, the brought to you by isn't so much something that's a product or anything. It was just a really funny post that I read that I wanted to make sure that I shared with you and encourage you to go watch. And it's from Mormon Hub, mormonhub.com, and it's 9 times text messaging would have made things a lot easier in the scriptures. And it's them taking some stories from the scriptures and switching them to text messages and showing how things would have been different had they had text messaging. So I'll include a link to that so you can go read that. But go read it. It's really funny. You'll really enjoy it. and I think you'll find some humor in it, because I definitely did. Anyways, thanks guys so much for watching this week. We'll be back again next week with more hilarity from the Twitter stake and Mormons in the news and the church in the news, and anything else that we come across with relation to the church, the gospel, and church culture, which of course is hilarious. Until next week, remember, take the gospel seriously, but do not take yourself too seriously. And we will talk to you guys soon. See ya.